Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Oh, somebody's in the house. Comments will appear in a minute, it says here. Oh, got a couple of people. Are you tuning in? Oh, welcome everybody. Oh, it's coming in thick and fast. Lovely. Super. Philippa. Oh, good evening, Philippa. You're in pole position. Hi, Sarah. See if we can get actually any comments coming up on the screen tonight, because I haven't had for the last bit. Well, you have, haven't you? But
Yeah.
Hi, Andreen. Hello, lovely. Excuse me, I'm just drinking my... Oh, Irene! Woohoo! Woo! Hello, lovely. How are you all? Oh, good evening, Sarah. Lovely to have you here. Let's get rid of that cup now. Oh, helps a lovely cup. Right then, so we've got a few in. That's absolutely fabulous. Thank you very much for joining. And it's been quite a week, hasn't it, on here? We've had it's been like our Christmas week when we all have a go. We've had Brian doing, oh God, Brian. I had to catch up though. I wasn't live on the day because no, we were at the dentist. Not good news, but anyway, never mind. Is it ever? Oh no, Irene's got COVID. Oh no, Irene. Sarah said, is there a hissing sound or is it my phone? There isn't a hissing sound here, Sarah. I'm sorry. Is it something in the background with you, possibly? Yeah, so what a week. So Brian has been on with his fantastic tutorial on the paper mould. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. I've done it and it is such a brilliant tutorial. I've seen Brian doing it previously. Oh, here's Brian now. and then of course Julie yesterday. So I'm going to make it a hat trick. I'm messy playing as well this evening. So, but messy playing and hopefully not making a mess. Emma and Spike. Oh no. Oh, sorry, Irene. Must be in your street because Shelley's been really poorly with it. I know she's all negative now then. Yeah. Christine. Sounds very poor with hissing. I've got it right up. Absolutely right up. I cannot have it up any higher. There is a hissing sound like rain. Is it because we're plugged in? Let me take it out. I'm just going to take, because I have got it. Says there is a hissing sound. Is Mark cooking his sausages? No, we've had our tea before we came on tonight actually, so it's not too late when we get home. How is that? Is that any better? Is that any better? I took the charger out. I mean, to be honest, it didn't need charging, but I popped it in just to make sure that we were okay for later. I can't, there's nothing I can do, I'm afraid. I'll try and speak up. It's not a problem. And hopefully it's gone. I'm ever so sorry. I'll do my best, but there's absolutely nothing going on in here. We don't have any sounds at all going on. We have got a lot of animals on Mark's desk, but they're not real, so they're not making a noise. No. Okay, so no, still hissing it down. Can hear you okay though. Oh, right, so I'm going to carry on, okay, and I'll do my best, and I'll try and I've no idea what that's all about. I've got it on, so anyway, we'll turn it round. There's a hissing noise, sounds like it's raining from Spain. Well, I tell you what, I don't know whether you've seen it, but in Alicante it's absolutely flooding. Anyway, we'll turn the camera round. Okay, so just bear with a second. Turn it round, there we go. There you see, you can see the animals now, can't you? There we are. Is that in? Oops, big wonky there. Are we pretty central? I'll do my best to speak up, but honestly I've no idea what that hissing is at all. Right, okay. So, this is the project that we're going to make. We're nice and central, yeah, lovely. So this is the project that we're going to make, and I thought, well, you know how much I love autumn. And I thought it made a change from Christmas. So I'm not quite in the spirit yet, I must admit. I will, I promise you, I will, because I love Christmas and I love making Christmas cards, but I think autumn is my absolute favourite time to be making, because it's just so vibrant, so much colour, there's so many things that you can make as well, which is really lovely. So what I've got is, I've got this heart-shaped canvas. I have got another one. So what I did forget to do though, I must admit I was a bit silly. I forgot to actually, I was going to sponge around the edges with some paint to finish that off. So I will do that at the, when we've finished, and I'll finish that off before I take proper photographs of it. I haven't got my paint on my desk, so I won't be able to do this next one, but I'll do that as well when I'm doing this one. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you through it before I get everything out. So, got the heart-shaped canvas, which is like this. Okay, so it's, you can see, it's just a nice, lovely shaped canvas. The size of it is, to the highest point, is about 8 inches, so it's a nice size, and it's really good and strong because it's got proper hardboard inside, not, you know, not like the some that you buy that's all squashes in the middle, doesn't it? And they're not so good, but this is fabulous. So that's what we're going to use. We're also going to be using the excuse me, these two. Oh, hi Jenny. So these two from the large hexagons. Let me straighten those up. From obviously from Julie, and I am going to be using these two smaller ones, which go, I'm not sure actually that that one is from the big hexagons. Perhaps Philippa will be able to tell me, or if Julie's here, I'm not sure. But I know that that one's from this one, but that one, because I tend to keep them in here because I tend to use them all together. So we're going to be using those. I'm going to just keep those two dies out so that I can just put that die set to one side. I'll tell you why, because my desk is ever so full. Ooh, it's ever so full. I've got a lot going on this week, so I've got lots of things that I've been I've been doing a bit here and a bit there and drying this and drying that. So anyway, there we go. Right, the other thing that we're going to be using, well, I've actually cut these already because, and I'll explain why, but we're going to be using the Medley of Leaves die sets. Okay, so you will, I have actually got these two. These are from the, Philippa, you'll know. I also keep these in here as well because when I'm tending to do lots of leaves, I do tend to cut these as well. Oh, fantastic! Thank you, because I know I'm a bit of a devil for it, of mixing the sets of the what I call the standard die cut shapes. I tend to be a bit naughty mixing it up a bit because I use them mixed up a bit. So yes, we're going to be using the leaves. So of course you could use any set of leaves that you've got. It does not matter. Absolutely doesn't matter. If you've only got the stamps and you're just going to stamp them and fussy cut them out, absolutely go ahead and do that. It's just this is just an idea for you, for you to have it's just a nice little project. I'm also going to be using this stencil, which is one that's always out, and I use it an awful lot. I'm going to be using the actual circles, the bubbles, the circles on that one. And I'm going to be using Julie's letters and number tiles. And again, I have actually pre-done these purely for speed because there's a lot going on this project, and I wanted to make sure that I get it to the finishing point before, before 9 o'clock. No, I'll be doing it just after 8, but I want to do it before 9. So that we can get home and watch Traitors. No, I don't want to keep you too long because you might get a bit tired. Anyways, so we're also going to be using flake, and I've got a bit of a mixture going on in that pot, which I'm sure we all do have. We're going to be using double-sided sticky, and we're going to be using lots of different pastes. We've got embossing powder, we've got gessos, and I'm also going to be using the foil relief paste, which I know a lot of you have, thank you very much, kindly purchased from us. When I used it a few weeks ago when we were doing the Christmas makes, and I was doing the foiling on those. So hopefully this will give you another idea to use it with. And then I've got our mica pigments, a selection of autumn colours on the mica pigments, and just a few sprays and bits and bobs. Obviously I've used distress inks for making the papers to actually make the leaves. I think that's everything on my list, and if not, then I'll call it out as we're going along. Oh, hi Brenda, thank you for popping in. Oh, Pat, hi Pat. Oh, lovely. Right, so I'm just going to put that one over there. That's it. And I'm going to bring in the actual... No, should I do that first? No, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you first the papers, and then obviously I always do loads too many, because what I like to do is I like to have a session of just making the backgrounds and the colours and everything. And if I know that I'm going to get through all of these, so I actually made, sort of so many more than what I needed, because I thought, well, you know what, if I've got all the inks out that I want to use, all the sprays and everything else, I've got all the mess going on, I may as well do it. And I'm sure you all do it, but if you don't, it's a really good tip. Have an afternoon, have a morning, have a session, have a couple of hours or whatever. And you know what? This is really good. If you're at the end of a project, before you start a new project, and your crafty mojo is maybe a little bit like, not quite sure what I want to do today, but I know that I want to do something, and I want to sit at my craft desk or sit at the table and I want to do something, but you're not sure what. Now what you could do is you could do this sort of thing. Also obviously doing nice bright colours, using your stencils, making your master boards, of course, like we have done in the past, doing all that sort of thing. Then pop them away, well, make sure they're dry, pop them away, and then you've got them for an immediate make then, haven't you? So that's what I always do. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to show you, first of all, I'm going to just share the inks that I've used. You will obviously use whatever you've got. There needs to be a water-based ink, obviously, so that we can get movement and get lots of colours and everything together. Try not to muddy your colours. Well, actually, for autumn, it quite matter quite so much, does it? Because you do obviously have browns and all those sort of colours anyway, but try not to muddy them too much. So I use forest moss, white persimmon, peeled paint, mustard seed, mowed lawn, which is, love that green, absolutely fantastic green. Festive berries, obviously for the red parts, rusty hinge, a little bit of ground espresso, obviously not too much because that was quite dark, and I did do a little bit of evergreen bough, which I did wonder whether, should I have done that, should I not, but actually it did go rather well, and I think that was actually the one that I did it on. I did it on that one, so even though it's more of a, I personally think it's more of a blue than it is a green, but that's only my eyes. Obviously, you're perhaps all thinking, well, how comes to think that, but it's beautiful, it's a lovely colour. So this is what I came up with. So I also used some of our micas. So I've used the deep brown, which is that gorgeous. Oh gosh, it's lovely. Really, really beautiful, beautiful colour, that one. The apple green. I did use the fire. Now the fire's actually got some glitter in, and so has the flash gold, which is rather gorgeous, and the jungle dream, I was going to say, it's not at all, it's jungle green. I know, nothing to do with greening, but there you go. Right, so I did use those, and you can see where the colours are. I did have a couple of sprays as well. My the Lustre Sprays Christmas Green from That's Crafty, and I've got a little bit, tiny bit of the gold left in that pot. I can't spray it anymore because it's too low, but I can take the lid off and just do a little bit of tapping here and there. So you're never ever going to get 2 pages the same, ever, no matter how hard you try. So accept that before you start. But really, why would you want it? Because nature obviously is so very different. So that's one page. This was just on white smooth. This one was on a white smooth. I've got a lot more reds in this one. You can see those gorgeous colours going on there. This piece was a piece of white. No, I'm telling a fib. This piece was a piece of watercolour cardstock that I had sort of hanging around, and I thought, right, I'll use up that. And I've done a lot more green on this one. And then this one, I thought I would have a go with this. This was just a piece of, it's a piece of old, 12 by 12. It was the, oh dear, long since this came out. Some of Ranger Distress collection from Tim Holtz. It wasn't particularly in a grand state. It obviously got put somewhere and not looked after, only me, obviously. So I thought, right, I shall use it for colouring up. So it was this colour to start off with. So actually I didn't really need to add much more onto it to actually make it really autumnal. So that's how our papers came about. Now I'm not actually going to do those this evening because I know that you've all seen us do this many times. So basically all you're doing is you're either taking your blending brushes and putting ink here, there, and bit here, bit there, or if you wanted to, you can actually take your ink pads and actually sort of like press them on. do different colours and that sort of thing. And then you're going to use your water spray it all, mix them together where you want them to be mixed. Add a little sparkle if you want to do, and all that sort of thing. So I thought maybe we wouldn't do that tonight, because you have seen us do that, all of us really, do that quite a few times. But that's how we, that's, you know, the sort of thing that we come about to. Now, the one thing I must say is, you're going to do this, and you can do it maybe the day before. It's quite a good idea, because you cannot, under any circumstances, cut anything with a die, or even with your scissors, if it's damp. If it's damp at all, you're going to tear it. You're not going to be able to cut it. It won't cut if it's damp. So the best thing to do is to leave it overnight, or leave it for at least half a day. So if you're doing it first thing in the morning, maybe use it in the evening or something. Now I have actually got an electric, now, is it an oil? What sort of heater is this? It's an oil radiator. One of those portable ones that I've got next to me for when it starts getting chillier. And I did actually put that on yesterday afternoon, not because I was cold, because it was a glorious day, but because I wanted to dry these. Well, I wanted to dry the ones that I was cutting, and actually they did dry quite quickly. So that's something. Put them on a radiator or in the airing cupboard or something like that. Put them in the airing cupboard with your paper moulding that you were doing with Brian the other day. And then who needs an airing cupboard for your columns and laundry? Anyway, so that's how I came about making all my leaves. So, like I say, I went ahead and cut them all, because I thought the last thing that you want me to do is to sit here and cut all of these. You know how to die cut. Like I say, you absolutely must remember, don't die cut when they are damp, or any sign of moisture at all, because it just won't work. You know, so I'm going to put those back in there, but aren't they absolutely gorgeous? All these different colours, look. So don't take all the leaves from, you know, if you've done like 2 or 3 pieces, take them from different sections, cut a piece off, cut some of the leaves, cut another piece off, another piece, cut some more, because they'll all be different colours. And of course, that is what happens in the autumn, isn't it? Wherever you go at the moment, it's just absolutely beautiful. I always think it's quite sad when they start all losing all those beautiful leaves. Right, I'm going to put those in there. Okay. Now, we're going to concentrate now on the base. Now, I've had this mentioned to you before. So why do you take such a lot of effort on the base when you're going to cover a lot of it up? I'm not actually going to go too mad on the middle, but I am going to do the whole thing, because the thing is, once you start putting your design together, you actually don't know maybe where pieces are going to sit, and you might change your mind. You might say do a big section on the background here, leaving this all without anything, and then once you start to put things on, oh hi Julie, once you start to put things on, you might have an area that you haven't actually done anything on the background. So to be honest, do it all, doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, excuse my fingernails. I have been doing very, very messy crafting this afternoon. I haven't been potato picking. Okay. I'm going to get dirty again now, so I'll be honest with you. I tried to clean them. It was a no-go. Yeah, I know. They need a bit more of the soap than what I was prepared to give them. Right, so we've got our canvas now. Oh, Julie, did you want to have a quick look? I don't know when you... I know you saw a picture, but I'll just show you the actual make. Just to show you there. Okay. Right, so I have got my That's Crafty texture paste. It's the 250ml pot, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, with my palette knife, you can use a brush if you so wish, much prefer a palette knife myself because you don't get quite, you know, the brush gets all in the bristles. If you do use a brush, use one that is not great quality, because it is not the best thing to use. But if you haven't got a palette knife, which I'm sure most of you have, but if you're not Messy Crafter, then maybe you haven't. You could also use, if you haven't got one, you could also use an old store card or something like that. So if you give it a couple of layers, like so, just work around the edge. You don't want that excess. There's no right or wrong. No right or wrong at all. But the more texture that you have got, and that doesn't mean thickness, texture. I think people are, I think sometimes when I do workshops they think, oh, I've got to load it on to get texture. You actually don't. Alright, so this is actually quite thin. I've used hardly any, two little bits on the palette knife, and it went round quite easily. What the thing is about it, you can put a little bit on and then you can move it around a little bit and still create texture. Look, can you see that? Look, that's only just one layer, but it looks as if I put several layers on. Well, you don't need a lot. Why use it all more than what's necessary? And also, it takes a lot longer to dry. So I'm sorry, I'm going to have to use my heat tool a little bit tonight, but I promise I'll do as little as possible. So I'll just give that a little quick once over. Because I haven't put it on too thick, it will dry quite quickly. See, that bit's dry already. Paste. The less of the quality, the longer it will dry, because it's got a lot more water in. Take that apart. It's got a lot more water in, and the thing is, that means it's a lesser quality paste. That's quite dry, but maybe not that bit. I'll just plonk that on, but I'm going to now use my my circles, my bubbles. Some more of that, and bring that through. A little tiny bit more than what I did before. Okay, and then I'm going to do it the other side, because what I'm aiming to do is do more sort of coming out here and here. So I want a bit more of the bubble feature on the edge here. There, okay, I'll just take that away in a second while it's not yet. Right, I'll just very quickly spray that with water, and then try not to look at my, I've washed it only last weekend, and it just looks like this. It's like Josie Anna's Technicolor Dream Coat tea towel, this one. Well, it's not dirty because I put it in the wash, didn't I? Well, I put all my rags in the wash, because obviously I can't put them in the laundry because, well, for obvious reasons. All sorts of things on this. So there we go. That's got that clean. You must do that obviously, or put it into some water, do whatever, but make sure that it's got moisture on it, because if it sticks onto it, this will stay onto it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray this. I've got the Christmas green, which is the luster spray from That's Crafty. Because obviously the mic is in the bottom. So they do flat colours and they also do the lusters. The lusters are the ones obviously that's got the mica in. And I know this looks quite green at the moment, but it won't. Once that's finished. Okay. That's a lovely one now. No doubt about it. Still got a little wiggle about. Now, because this is a water-based spray, what we can now do is add our rainbow colours. So these are the 13 Arts rainbow colours, and I know all of you will have, well, not all of you, but if you like this sort of thing, you would have something very similar. The brushes obviously are absolutely exactly the same. And then of course you've got those beautiful ones from Jamie Rogers, that I know that Julie has got, because she's using them yesterday. I love that. I really do. Right, so I'm just putting a little bit on, like so, and then I'm going to leave it just to do its thing. Now I've also got, that I didn't mention earlier, I've got a lot of this left that I've got enough. I might just give that a little bit of a tickle with a heat tool. I love it when you do this because I like the way that the colours all mingle together. Right, wet at the moment, but it won't take long. Just bear with me. Well, has the hissing gone? Do we know? I'm trying to speak up as much as I can. Sorry?
You have to speak up and talk it well.
Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that, Brian? That's not very nice, is it? Keeping you awake? Oh, bless. You do enough sleeping on holiday, doesn't need any more sleep. Right, I'm just going to dab this just a little bit, because I've got the colour going on and I don't necessarily need to. Oh. Well, I really absolutely do not know what this hissing is. And we haven't even got noise from the aeroplanes tonight, because obviously, well I say obviously it's dark, but they do night flying, but they're not night flying this week. Well, I've not heard them, have you? Yes, earlier on, when we, about 5 o'clock, the Spitfire was out, which is most unusual at that time of night. Right, that's took off enough. Now, look at that. Colours are gorgeous. I know it looks a little bit messy now. I mean, I personally love it, but it oh, let me take this great big blue one. Right, so this is the one of the Distress spritz, and this one is the Twisted Citron. Now you can hear the Bulgarian in it, and when you're using it and it's been stood for a while, obviously the mica, like all sprays, will settle down to the bottom, and you just need to shake it until you hear the Bulgarian going on now. Okay, so I'm going to just leave that for a little bit. I might still have to heat it a tad in a little while, but what we're going to do is we're going to go on to another stage while that's just sitting. I do like to leave things to naturally dry if I can, because I don't know whether you notice, but you get much more of a natural colour with it, whereas when you force the heat and you force it to actually dry, you get it gets a little bit lighter. I don't know if anybody's noticed that before, and I've no idea why. I don't know the chemistry behind it. Right, so now what we're going to do is, I'm going to do the, while that's just sitting, I'm going to do the hexagons with the foiling. Okay, so I'm going to do those. Right, so I've got my foil and I've got my double-sided. What we need is, I need this one to do that. And for this I'm using scraps as usual, because obviously we're using scraps as much as we can, don't we? Oh, you do. So I just need to put that one. Oh, beautiful. Should be okay. So I'm just going to cut these. Just be very mindful when you are putting anything together that you make sure you don't run over inside, because that's when unfortunately you're going to damage them. So let's get our two hexagons. Just put those back. There we go. Okay, so we've got our hexagons, and also what I want to do is I want to build those up a little bit. And I've got some. I think I've got anything. Yeah, I've had enough. I'll go to that. Some cardboard. I'll do that afterwards. So what we want to do is we want to actually cover these with the flake. Now I could use the relief paste, but on this occasion, because I think it will be a little bit quicker, because obviously I've got to wait a little while for that to dry a little bit before we put the flake on. It's a lot easier using the double-sided adhesive sheets. So I'm just going to use the bit that I put out just as a template. It will dry quick out, the sheets, but we might as well just use this as a template. So we get that piece there, and then we'll go. So I saw that Anne Green had a play with Brian's technique, with the mouldings. Now, has anybody else? Such a great thing to do. So much fun. Right, so I'm just going to put there. Oh, my cutter book, yeah. Well, that's actually no, sadly, we had that demise, didn't it? We had I've only ever had two. The first one, I had the pleasure, absolute pleasure, and it was a pleasure, to demonstrate the cutter book for the very first time on Ideal World, when craft, now then I'm showing the age now, well mind you, you all know how. You don't need to know. You'll swap me for a younger version if you know exactly how old I am now. Yes, I had the pleasure of working for the company that actually brought the cookie board into the country, and I'm just talking now. I'll just put that on there. And I demonstrated it on TV for the very first time, and it sold out. And that was in the days when TV shopping was enormous, lots and lots of numbers after any item. That's all I'll say. and yeah, it was a tremendous success. It wasn't because I demonstrated, it was because it was such a fantastic machine. Anybody, a child could have gone up there and demonstrated it the same, and they would have sold the same amount. Absolutely amazing. You can't get it anymore. I think it was one of the best small machines. Well, it was one of the first, wasn't it? Apart from Sizzix, of course, the big shop. But it was one of the first that had the, as well as Sizzix, had the wide mouth, which was fantastic because I could use all my big shop dies in it. And also all my thin lips and all my, the thin cut dies, what we're using more or less the whole time now, which is quite, it was, yeah, just a good little machine. It's such a useful machine because I literally, like you just saw me do, lift it up onto my desk, use it and put it back down again. I do have an electric machine for when I'm doing a lot of die cutting and bigger pieces. I've got the switch, the Sizzix switch, which I would, if anybody's ever looking for an electric machine, I would recommend that one. Really, really good. Mind you, they've been out of stock for a while, but we're just starting to remake them. Right, so what I'm doing here is I've got some just gold bits on the top. I was using this the other day. We were using it in class, weren't we? And I just put it in here because, you know, when you've got a little mixture going on, it's quite nice. And then, so I'm putting a couple of bits of the solid on the edges, and then I'm just mixing all the other gorgeous colours.
So you still get an original, can't
Well, in all fairness, Shelley, I would have still had my original, but I let somebody have a go with it that wasn't sure how to use it, and that was my mistake. But it doesn't matter, it's just one of those things. I don't think... Yeah, the originals were far, far superior to the next model that came out, which is the one that I've got. It's still great, but it is, yeah, it's still a fantastic machine, I must admit. I just like the way that it's... You used to be able to, Christine. I know from Creative Expressions, because they used to bring them in from, because of course it is an American company, it's Clovercraft that makes it. The same people that made the cricket. So I don't know whether you can, but I'll tell you what, I'll have a little scout around and have a little word to see, because I know a couple of people that do cricket, and I don't know whether they still have them available. I know that the cookie board in America was huge, absolutely huge. There we go. Right, so you can see the reason why I put some of the solid, and then obviously I've got some of that gorgeous, gorgeous mix. And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell you what the mix is, because this is my pot of mix, and it's got bits of silver, it's got bits of obviously bronze, coppers, all sorts. But I do like to use the mix for my autumn projects. Right, And it's just reminded me of the lovely, lovely Lowen Love. Oh, bless her. Not with us anymore. When I was working with her once, this flake I'm talking about now, I was working with her once and I was using flake and I had it in a tray like this because it is something that you need to contain, because I'm sure you all know when you use it. And she sneezed. And, wow. It was like, I know. Can't remember when she, oh, it was so funny. I mean, it, honestly. Well, they used to switch, if you use flake, they used to switch the aircon off, because the aircon thing is right above you and it would just be impossible. But she sneezed, and I'm not kidding, we just wore it. We wore it, and we wore it all day, and it was quite funny. And I was doing a pick of the day at the time, and that was my first show for the day, which was quite funny. That will be my lasting memory of Lowen, bless her. Right, I'm just going to dab a little bit of this off, because I know I would normally just leave it and let it do its thing, but I need to at least dry the edges. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the foil in around the edges. But we're going to use the relief foil paste instead. If anybody's got any questions, please ask. I know obviously Julie's here, Philippa's here, Brian's here. I'm not sure about any of the other team, but our mixed media contingent is definitely here. Now, any of these techniques, obviously, that I'm doing now, you can use very, very similar ones, obviously in your card making as well, or using on a book cover, anything like that. Oh, hi Jean, is Callum with you now?
Yeah.
Oh, hi Callum. Oh, lovely. No worries. We've got to. What? Did you see the picture, Jean? We're actually making this. So we've already pasted on and used the stencil. Well, you can have a little look back, can't you? And bits and bobs. But yeah. So we've just got our base down at the moment, and we've also been cutting our hexagons out, putting them on double-sided, and then popping the flake over the top. And I've been telling the story about Lowen and when she sneezed on live TV when I was flaking. Okay, right. So now what we're going to do is I'm using the foil paste, and all I'm doing is make it random, this, and it's really, really, really a thin coat. And the reason for, well, there's two reasons. You don't need it to be a thick coat, and you also don't want it to be thick because it will take too long to become the consistency that we want it to be. Okay, so if I've got any bits missing, it does not matter. Try and do them at different lengths as well, because what you don't really, well, personally, I know I wouldn't want it to be formed as in a perfect heart shape, because I think it wouldn't really suit what we're trying to achieve really. Do you still collect heart bits and pieces, Julie? I know that you used to do. Right, so that's on there now. So all it needs to do is just sit there for, I don't know, just a few minutes, and I can give it a quick blast if I need to make it work for what we want it to do. But that just needs to sit there and just dry off a little bit so that it's actually tacky to the touch. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that to one side again. Now, we looked at the leaves, didn't we? So you can see I've got all different types. I've got, you know, all the different shapes from the medley. More of the open ones than the closed ones, because I think they, you sort of can make a bit more of a display of the open ones on this occasion. Now the other thing that I have done, I did go ahead and do, because obviously I'm having to double up on some of the letters, was, let me just remind you what. So it was Julie's letters and number tiles. Love them. Use them a lot. So I have actually done all of them. I stamped them. I have used. I stamped them in the Versafine Care Pine Cone because I didn't want them to be black, but I still wanted them to stand out. So if you haven't got this one but you've got black, it would do the job just as well. So we've got those. So that is going to spell, hopefully, autumn is calling. Or I was going to put autumn is my favourite colour, which is a stamp that I do have in my collection, which is quite nice. Now what I did was I stamped it with the Versafine Clair, and then I've used the clear gloss, just the regular one. You could use the fine one if you wanted, just the regular one of the Wow embossing powder, so that it just gave that a little bit of a lift to the letters as well when you put them on in a few minutes. So that was that stage. So we are at I'm going to I think I will just need, I don't like to do this because you've got to be really careful not to make it too dry, but if I just give it a quick, just don't keep it in any one place at any one time. That's still a little bit wet. I would have normally have left this about 10-15 minutes this thin, because it does dry quite quickly. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'll just do that another few minutes while I just put a little bit, put the mixing out here. Oh, I can put the backs on the hexagons as well, can't I? So I'm going to just put a little bit of mica here and there. There we go. So I've put some water down. And look at that. Look at that going. Lovely. Really lovely. I'm using water. Because they do react to the water. You can paint with them. You can obviously, when we're using them with power tapes, which is primarily what we had them made for, what we would do is we would use varnish, as the power tapes varnish. And for those that know what I'm talking about, it's the fabric sculpting that we do. I'm sure you've seen us doing it. But the actual varnish itself makes the actual the piece that we've made completely weatherproof. So, but this doesn't need to be weatherproof because obviously I'm not going to be putting it outside. And I'm going to use a little bit of the apple green. Why not? No rules. Yeah, because we're in that industry when you basically can. I think we'd all agree with that that's listening. Right, so just put that in there. Put rulers on that because we do have to have the heat through that again. We don't want to be dusting that everywhere. When we first got these, we actually received them in huge bags and had to decant them into the pots. Can you imagine what we look like? Pretty, but messy, but pretty. Oh dear. There we go. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, yeah, that's fine. So basically this now, you can feel, you can hear that you, if you picked it up, if you put your finger in it and just took your finger off, it's not actually going to leave a big indentation in the actual foiling paste. So you know that it's going to be ready. Now you do need to cover all of the bits that you have put the foiling paste, you know, all the foiling paste that you put down, because it will remain sticky. Yeah. Ever and ever. Yeah. Actually, just get that out. Yes, I think it's rather genius, don't you? Normally I don't. I'm doing it because I think it looks more professional. Because occasionally I can pretend that I'm a professional. Right, it's very gently. Okay, this is just a sponge. I'm not using that end. You can use that end in a minute if you want, but I'm using this end at the minute. I'm just very, very gently just rubbing off any that hasn't stuck. Making it all nice and smooth. The sponge. Oh. Flame. Oh yeah, of course you can. You don't really use a great deal. It's a bit like a bottom powder. When you know when you pour loads of embossing powder over your project and you actually put most of it back, well, it's exactly the same really. But I can use a sponge again now. Even though I put a sponge into it, you can. So, now what we're saying about using the other end, if you don't want it to be quite as shiny as what this is, I'm just going to move that out of the way because you can see this is slowly putting it. If you don't want it as shiny as what it is, and actually I quite like doing this, what you do is you take the scrubby end, I'm still not leaning on, and you can just do a little bit more than what you were before, and it creates like a tarnish, more of a tarnished look. Which again is quite nice. It depends on the project that you're doing. Really does. It depends if you want a more tarnished look, if you want more of a bright look. I think a bright look for celebration cards is absolutely gorgeous. Or there we go. So that's the flake, or a new one. Right, so that's the flake on. I will go round the edges, like as I mentioned right at the beginning. I'll go round and I'll sponge some paint around it, and it'll finish it off, and it'll make it all nice and neat. So where any spray's gone round, or any extra flake, or basically anything that's gone round the edges, we can just go round and just take the sponge like this, dip it into your paint, and then just lightly sponge around, and then that gives that a nice finish to it. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to place everything down. So we've got everything ready. We just need to put some. Oh, good. Oh, I am pleased, because I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, mixed media and messy, but sometimes it makes a change, doesn't it? Just to a little bit of something different, and right, so that's my bit of paint there. I'm going to put that glue on. I'm not going to stick it down yet, but I'm putting the glue on. So, and then I'm going to start this one. That's fine. Right, so I just needed to just give it a bit of a lift, and actual fact, I need to give this one a double layer, because I need this slightly higher than the other one. Right, I'm just going to leave those upside down for a minute. Now, I want to bring this green back a little bit, because it's a little bit bright. This is actually how the other one started, so it isn't anything to worry about if you. I'm just trying to find this one different. If you get it's a little bit brighter than what you want it to be, because what you can do now is I've just put a little bit. I've got my That's Crafty white gesso, which I always use for white dry brushing. It's the best. It's absolutely fantastic. It's really chalky, and it just allows you to bring out a little bit of the texture away from the base colour. So you can see now the bubbles are popping. So you want a nice flat brush, and I bet Jean, steady Jean, I bet you're getting all nervous now looking at me dry brushing. It's a secret joke. Well, it's not secret, is it, Jean? Mark and Jean are like brother and sister at workshops, and they have a bit of banter with each other, and it's always over the dry brushing. So you can see how it just tones it down a little bit. So that apple green is absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous, but we've still got the apple green going on. But the top surface of that gorgeous texture that we put on, right at the beginning with the paste, it needs to be brought out a little bit. It's a shame to just leave it flat. I'm hoping I'm explaining that. Okay, so now you can see. Right, so I'm just going to bring that up, and now you can actually see what I mean by bringing out the detail. So you've got the lovely bubbles coming through, you've got all of this texture going on around here as well, which you didn't necessarily see before you actually dry brushed it. So now what we're going to do, we're going to put our, and you're going to think, that's a bit odd, Joe, why are you putting that on now? But I find it easier to get my central point before I start putting all my bits and bobs around it. So I'm going to pop this on. That's flat a bit there. So I'm going to put it here, I think. Yeah. Pressing that down, obviously it's got my glue on, so it's going to stick down there nicely. And then we've got this one, glue in there. And pop that one up. Oh, tell you what I meant to do, and I didn't, and I did this one when I made the original one and I forgot. I've got smooth Sisal, I don't know what I do call it, sizzle or something. I'm going to put some more glue down.
What would you use to accentuate your texture?
All it is, Christine, is my white gesso from That's Crafting. They do it in white and they do it in black, but the white is it's a really, really chalky gesso. It's a fantastic quality one, so if you do use gesso, it's a really, really good, and I know Brian has often said, sorry to call you out there, Brian, but I know you've said the same. When you dry brushing, you need a nice chalky finish to things to be able to get that detail, and that gesso is superb for it. It's cheap and cheerful as well, you don't need to pay a fortune. Just going to take a little bit, give it a bit of a haircut, because it is a bit worn. There we go. That will sit nicely in a minute. Just obviously you know it's out and you just glue it down. Now we're going to put our leaves on. So we've got all our leaves done. We won't use all these. I've got far too many, but it's better to have too many than not enough. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 13 Arts gel medium, and the thing is with this is it dries clear. So if you have got any of it sort of lurking about afterwards, you know that it's going to dry clear and it's not going to be a problem. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're literally going to just build around where we want to be. Now, as you can see, if I want it to be slightly stood away from the canvas, I'm just slightly bending them, and because it's card, obviously it's very, very easy to do that, no problem. So at the minute I'm just going to go across, and then I'll decide where else I want to go. There's no rules. You just do whatever you feel like doing, basically. Oh, that size it gets everywhere, honestly. Look at that, that is gorgeous, isn't it? You taking the mic? Did you find a little bit of sarcasm in his voice there? Whoa. He's been out most of the day in his van, so he's obviously feeling a bit like he needs to have a conversation with.
You want to talk to yourself all day.
Oh, sad one. So all I'm doing is I'm not necessarily putting it on all of them because I want them to stand proud, some of them, but and also the thing is with gel medium, you have got that ability to build up if you want to do. That's another nice one. Look, you've got that lovely marker running through that one. That's a nice contrast to the pinky ones. That's another nice one. Look, you've got lots of colours there. Really. And of course they're different shapes, aren't they? Different sizes, which is all lovely as well. So you've got that nice contrast of that going on. Try and mix around the shades if you can, so you've not got too many of the same shades in one area. Picking up a bit at now, I think. I am no flower end, I can tell you that's the next one, but I like them, if ever I do get flowers, I like them when they're in the apple pack. But no, it's just easier, isn't it? It just comes like it, and it's just so easy. So that was quite green against the green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a nice ready for the one underneath, and then it won't be quite so samey. Put this one at the top, and then I think with the oh, put your fingers. More singles. Of course, if you haven't got any more singles left, what you can do, of course, is you can cut them off the ones that you've actually got left. You know, if you want to maybe take, say, this one off, let's just put that one as an example. Put that one over there. Yeah, and just pick bits off if you want to. Now, I think that's enough. You can do it exactly how you want. You could just put half a dozen on if you wanted to. It really, really does not matter. It's your project anyway. That's the main thing. Now I've got, like I say, I've got all my letters. Now I'm really hoping I've got more. So I'm wondering if I can maybe sneak these on this one here. Now, the other thing is about gel medium, it gives you time to actually jiggle them. Yeah, it gives you time to jiggle them about a bit if you, so place them down. Let me just what I'm doing is I'm just pressing them so that. Now the rule of thumb is, if you don't think you get them straight, get them very wiggly. Don't just get them a little bit wiggly, because it looks as if you're going to. Do you know what? Did that make sense? You either make them very wiggly or straight. You put them halfway house, it looks like they're just wiggly. Yeah, I know exactly what I'm saying, but I'm not sure whether anybody else knows what I mean. It's sort of it's either get them right, as in nice and straight, or get them very wiggly so that it looks like you've meant to do them like that. And like I say, this will dry clear, so I'm not terribly worried about that at all. Right, calling C. It's like, what did I say when I was doing this day? What did I say to you? Was it like countdown? It was like, oh, another an A. Oh no, another. Yeah, the Carol Vorderman used to do it years ago. Is it countdown? Is it countdown, everybody? I think it is. She's not on it now. Carol Vorderman, no. It's the one who's married to Precious, I think. Now we are just going to go over the edge, but it doesn't matter because I've got a loop there. And if I put plenty of gummies in it, it's going to sit on that loop. Okay. That's it. Right, so vegan splodge. I think it's come out the size there. So I just need to sit nicely. Now the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my fire mica powder and mix some up. Just throwing a bit of water in it, something after the thing. Just doing some water and just mixing some of that. Just mixing some of that with the water. It's quite loose. And then that's it. Yeah. Can I have a pea? Yeah. As kids used to love. Another pea. There we go. Right. I think. Yes, I think I'm happy with that. Oh no, just one more thing. Yeah, one more thing. Don't go. Just wanted to do. Yeah, sorry, Julie. What the second? I never could do the maths. Well, in fact, the only countdown is. What can I count down? In fact, there we go. Right, that is definitely it. So the turn that around. Give you I'll give you a phone bit, but I'm not sure about that. So there we go. If anybody's got any questions, then please do let me know. Send me a message. No, don't send it to Carol because she'll wonder what the devil we're talking about. There we go. Right, hopefully. Yeah, so that will basically, I'm going to leave that as it is now. I'm going to leave it set, and then it'll be completely lovely and set in the morning. And then what I will do is I will just sponge around the edges, and the same with this one. I sponge around the edges because I completely forgot to do that. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. Yes, it's a little bit messier than what perhaps some of you would normally do, but do you know what? It's lovely. It's really good to do something a little bit different, a little bit out your comfort zone, get a little bit inky. Don't forget, have a session making all your colours up and everything like we were talking about earlier, like these sort of things, you know, have a little afternoon of doing that, and then get your die cutting done, get everything all ready, and then you can basically just sort of like put it all together. So right, I'll turn you back around. There we go. Hopefully that is. Ooh, that's a bit close. Oh, that's scaring me actually. Right, so hopefully you've enjoyed that. I'll put some. What I'll do tomorrow, I'll take some proper pictures of it and then post them, because I only really just did little bits and pieces to sort of show you what I was going to do. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and you got a little bit of inspiration out of it. I don't do much messy crafting, but I've enjoyed watching. Oh, thanks, Anne. You know what, it's not everybody's cup of tea. It is not everybody's cup of tea, it really isn't. You know, this is what I love to do. Oh, thank you, Irene, and sending lots of good, gentle hugs to you for getting better, all of you, Spike and Emma. Oh dear, I don't know. You need to be better by next Wednesday, because it's class. Yes, anyway, so if there are any questions about anything that I've used, and you're just wondering what did I do for that or whatever, which I don't think you will do, I think you're pretty much all sorted, then please do just message. And don't forget, continue. Oh, that's Jean. Oh, I do. Callum, it's time that we met. It's time that we met. Oh, thank you, Andreen. Thank you, Jean. Little Jean as well. Yes. Tell your grandma that it's time that we met, Callum. Yeah, so any questions, do keep sharing your makes, because we absolutely, as a team, we absolutely love to see, and I personally think this is one of the most active groups that there is for all the lovely makes that everybody puts on, and I know we love to see them, don't we? Okay, so I'll let you go. I'm sorry I've overrun. I did think that I might do tonight because it was a bigger project. I will see you again, well, roughly in about a month's time, if not before, on here. And thank you ever so much, Julie, for asking me to pop on and do it again. Okay, so see you all soon, and take care and get better, Irene. Okay, all right. Good night, everybody. Good night, and thank you.